Hello, everybody. War Wizard here with another Mortal Kombat video. Today, I wanted to talk about. Let me mute this real quick. Wanted to talk about the disaster that was the final combat on HBO. They also streamed it on Twitch and YouTube. I want to say something first, though. The commentators and the players and the actual matches themselves were amazing. The commentators remained professional throughout the whole thing. They were hyping everything up. The players put on some really great matches. There were some really, really good matches out there, like Sonic Fox versus Snake Doe, Tweety's double 3-0 to make it to the top 8. Gurr's performance was hype. A lot of really, really close matches. It's definitely the highest level of Mortal Kombat 1 we've seen. But that being said, the production was horrible. It was horrible. There's no other way to put it. It was just... There was problems on all 3 platforms. There was problems on HBO. There was problems on Twitch. There was problems on YouTube. And all the problems were different at the same time. They were constantly getting the players' names wrong, the scores wrong, constant lag. On HBO, it would be lagging really bad, so I'd go check it out on Twitch, see if Twitch is running better. And yeah, Twitch would be running better, but the audio was non-existent, so all you can hear is the commentators. That's not the worst thing, but then the Twitch feed would go out, so then I'd have to go back to HBO, and then the game audio on HBO sometimes would be so unbelievably loud. You couldn't hear the commentators. It was horrendous to listen to. And then they would basically mute the game audio, and sometimes you couldn't hear sometimes they would mute the commentators, or sometimes they would play the wrong commentators. Like, it would be the English commentators, but all of a sudden you start hearing the Spanish commentators. Sometimes you can hear what the players were saying. It was just a mess. And then, like, you'd go check out YouTube, see if YouTube's running better, but then the YouTube feed would be constantly flickering blue. It was just a huge, huge disaster. And I get technical problems, right? There's going to be technical problems sometimes. I get that. But at that level, all 3 days, it wasn't just every once in a while. It was all 3 days. Every, I want to say 10 minutes, there was some sort of new problem. Lag, the feed going out, massive audio problems. It was, and then the commentators, I got to give my hats off to them again. It was Ketchup, Mustard, Aquaman, and Tento. They had to constantly keep correcting the production team. They were like, oh, actually, no, Gurr's in there, not Snake Doe, or Gurr made the top 8, not Snake Doe, or, like, actually the score is 2-1 this person. It was just ridiculous. Another thing I have to give credit to the commentators for is because they knew they were on HBO, right? So they were giving out little tidbits about the Mortal Kombat 1 mechanics for the people that, you know, they might be interested in Mortal Kombat, but maybe not Mortal Kombat 1. I thought that was really cool of them to do, explaining how cameos and stuff like that work. That was a really good job by them. But my biggest issue with this is, so like Combo Breaker, right? Run by not a billion-dollar company like HBO or Warner Brothers. But yet they can somehow manage to run multiple different fighting game streams at once with little to no problems. But then HBO can't even run one single Mortal Kombat tournament. And they're a billion-dollar company. And then on top of that, you go on Twitter and you see and hear everyone that was there talking about how the roof was flooding and there was puddles of water all over the venue, or how debris was literally falling on Ketchup from the roof while he was commentating. Like, that's just it. It's unexcusable. If it was once, maybe a couple of times, no, the whole entire production was full of just problems. And then to make matters worse, they kept changing the top 8 bracket for some reason, telling players, "Oh, you're going to face them. Oh, never mind, you're going to face this person." Oh, no, why are they doing that? And then they had the nerve to stop Sonic Fox and Candy Manny in the middle of a match because they were having audio problems. The players weren't having audio problems, the production was. Why wouldn't you let them finish the match instead of making them quit on the spot to fix the audio issues? That is so ridiculous. I mean, these players are here competing in your game that you're producing, right? And you're going to stop them in mid-match. And apparently Sonic Fox was winning. He had the life lead, had a combo going or something like that. And you can tell by Sonic Fox's face that he was pissed. And according to him, he was pissed about a lot of things that were going on. But that is like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, apparently it took away all his momentum. And a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, that's just excuses." Think about it. If there's already things going on that are pissing you off, and then you're in the middle of the biggest tournament of the year, facing one of the best players in the world, and some guys come up, even though you're like in the middle of a combo, hey, we got to stop. The production team's having audio problems. You're going to tell me right now that that couldn't throw you off, possibly? Piss you off to the point where you don't even want to play anymore? Maybe it is a little diva of him, but at the same time, you have to see where he's coming from. That would piss a lot of people off. And you can just tell he wasn't in the right headspace after that. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm not saying he would have won for sure, but you could just tell by the look on his face, his whole demeanor changed. But you just don't do that. Period. In any professional setting ever. Imagine... It's like... Do you guys remember that boxing fight between Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe? And that guy in the parachute crashed into the ring, disrupted everything, threw off the whole trajectory. Riddick Bowe had Evander Holyfield on the ropes, but then they had to stop it for a long period of time, which gave Evander Holyfield the time to rest. Like, that's crazy. It's basically the same thing, not to the extent of boxing, but you're taking someone out of their zone when they're mentally checked in, they're ready, they're focused, and you're like, hey, we messed up, you have to stop playing right now. Wait until the round is over, the match is over. Like, that's insane to me. That's insane. Every single pro player and tournament organizer was pissed about that. It was so bad that Mr. Aquaman said it was a good time, but after all the mistakes and everything that happened, it's time for some shots after Final Combat was over. That's what he tweeted. Everyone, apparently, it was just the production was really bad. And another thing is now NRS, NetherRealm Studios, is getting flack for it. And they had nothing to do with the production. Nothing. It was all WB and HBO. People are trying to argue, oh, Bull, NRS. NetherRealm doesn't have a production team. They develop the video game. WB handles all the production and stuff like that. Outside of the Kombat cast, they don't do anything except restream tournaments on their channels. NetherRealm is already getting flack. And I don't want to get in this argument again, but I'm going to bring it up. People didn't like Mortal Kombat 1. It launched in a really bad state. There was a lot of bugs and glitches. Some people don't like the cameo system. And, it was rushed before it was finished, which is also WB's fault. But they started getting players back. They started earning players' faith back with some of the updates and stuff like that that they were doing. And then when they were on track, WB's like, hey, we're cutting the DLC short. No more DLC, which makes NetherRealm and Ed Boon look bad again. And then they start, people start playing it still with more patches, and they're like, this game's actually pretty fun. Then WB does this with the HBO production. They've been hyping this up for months. It's going to be on HBO. It's going to be on HBO. Just to have one of the worst productions in any tournament ever. It affected the players. It affected the commentators. It affected the fans watching at home. It was a huge disaster. And it sucks because now that MK1 was gaining a little bit of traction, people are like, all right, they fixed a lot of the stuff, blah, blah, blah. For it to end like that, it started bad and now it's going to end bad. It's just sad because like I've stated before in some of my videos, I personally like Mortal Kombat 1's gameplay. I know there's flaws with this game, especially at launch, but this is just gonna add on top of it because it's like if they do another pro tour, is it going to be bad again? Is the championships going to be bad again? I know they held it in Mexico because it was cheaper to get a venue and stuff there. I know that's the reason. But cutting corners like that, this is the end result you get. Just a miserable watching experience. I was getting extremely frustrated just watching because the feed kept cutting out in the middle of hype moments. And just, everyone getting constant, wrong scores. I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait, didn't, Sonic Fox win that round? Like, how is it? It was just ridiculous. The matches were hype, except for one thing. Homelander needs to be gutted at this point. I know technically Scorpion Prox won with Havoc, but I feel like Scorpion Prox knows something with Havoc that counters Homelander, in my opinion, because every time he faced a Homelander, he picked Havoc. And he also massively outplayed Canny Manny, or Kanamani, however you say it. But there were so many Homelander Farahs, so many. And Ed Boon did say that the last patch was probably not the last one. So if there is a last patch for Mortal Kombat 1, they need to kill off Homelander. It's been too long. He's been top 3 or 5 since the game came out. I'm sick and tired of seeing him. I'm just tired of it. There were so many there, and you see him all over Combat League, and you see him in other tournaments. It's time to just gut him. I'm usually against heavy nerfs like that, but Homelander's overdue for it. I'm tired of these slap on the wrist nerfs. Gut him. Get him out. I don't care if he's the worst character in the game anymore. He's had his time to shine. They need to focus more on buffing lower tier characters as well, like Liu, like Raiden, like Baraka, like Shang Tsung, like Tanya. And then revert some of the cameo nerfs that they did, so then we have a whole plethora of busted cameos that we can play with. Let Tremor be busted. Let Cyrax be busted. Let Chameleon be busted. Let Stryker be busted. Bring back the original Kung Lao cameo. Revert Goro's cooldowns. Just let us have fun in the final, months of the game, or however long it's going to be till we get the next one. Just let us have fun. The competitive scene, besides online tournaments, is done. So stop worrying about pros for now, and just let us have some fun. And I'm not saying let, Cyrax cameo be as busted as he was when the game first came out. You can nerf the chip damage and stuff, but don't make Horizontal Chopper be a full bar anymore. Revert Kung Lao's low hat to be like +3 or 4. And then revert Goro's cooldowns, because if you do that, if you make all these cameos busted, a lot of these low tier characters like Raiden, Baraka, Liu Kang, they're gonna shoot up like a whole tier, maybe even a little more, just by fixing the cameos. Because all we seen cameo wise at Final Combat was Tremor and Stryker. We didn't see. Oh, and Farah. We only seen Farah with Scorpion and Homelander. But other than that, it was Stryker and Tremor with everybody. That's what happens. And I know more than likely they're just gonna nerf Stryker and Tremor into the ground instead of keeping them the way they are and reverting everybody back. And then we'll have a bunch of cameos to use. But anyway, Homelander needs to be nerfed. It's beyond time. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was still kind of fun to watch because I love competitive Mortal Kombat. I'm really into it. Watching the high level players is always a good time. The commentators are amazing. Ketchup, Mustard. I'm going to be a little biased. They are my all time favorite commentators. Mr. Aquaman is third. Tento has risen up to be another one of my favorites. I believe those four guys are the voices of Mortal Kombat and NRS games at this point. They make tournaments so much better when they commentate. And they proved that today. They were so professional. They held it together. They were, correcting and making sure everybody at home watching had the correct information. But the players deserved better. The commentators deserved better. We, as fans, deserved better. They hyped this up so much. And then on top of that, so you see the disaster that happened with HBO, right? Street Fighter announced, this is a little off topic, that their next tournament is going to be pay-per-view only and you will not be allowed to co-stream it. A video game fighting game tournament is going to be pay-per-view. What the hell is that? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. That is going to do nothing but hurt the fighting game scene. Nobody wants to pay for pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is a dying thing. And just, we had to pay for HBO. Granted, you could watch it for free on Twitch or whatever, but they hyped it so much, oh, it's going to be on HBO just to have that kind of production. I know this isn't going to get me any brownie points with WB and stuff, but because I am trying to make, I would love to be invited to these events, but I'm not going to sit there and hold my tongue when something was that bad. Like, it was really bad. Like I said, that's probably not going to win me any brownie points, but I can't. It has to be addressed. It was so bad. And all the flack that some people are trying to put on NetherRealm, oh, the NetherRealm sucks. They had nothing to do with that production. How are you guys blaming NetherRealm? It's so insane to me. I get it. You didn't like Mortal Kombat 1, whatever, but you cannot blame everything on NetherRealm, especially when they didn't have anything to do with the production. It was WB and HBO. It was just, and the fact that all three platforms would have a different issue at the same time is insane. It's just inexcusable. You can't, if there were some audio problems on Twitch or something, but HBO was fine, or, maybe you lose the feed once, or maybe there was lag once or twice, that's fine. But the fact that it was all 3 days, every 5 to 10 minutes, some new, not just annoying problem, they were massive problems that made watching it almost unbearable. The atrocious audio levels. I was watching it with my wife, and then all of a sudden the game audio is just blaring so loud. I had to turn down the TV. I was like, what the hell? And Ketchup and Mustard sound like they were whispering. And then I'm like, I'm going to go check Twitch. Just for Twitch to have no game audio, and Ketchup and Mustard still sounded very quiet. And that was just one example. There were so many problems. The fact that the venue and the building is falling apart in the middle of the biggest event of the year for our community, it's crazy. At this point, this is going to get me even less brownie points. I hope WB gets bought out. I hope the rumors of all these other companies making bids on them is true. And I hope NetherRealm and Mortal Kombat goes to more competent hands. Ed Boon and NetherRealm deserve more respect. We as fans deserve more respect. WB clearly don't know what the hell they're doing. They're losing money left and right. They're treating their fans like garbage. Maybe it's time to just move on. As long as I know NetherRealm has a home to go to, a decent home, I don't care if WB goes under. I really don't. They're so bad right now. So bad. But anyway, Scorpion Prox, one of the Chilean twins, ended up winning the whole thing. Very good sets, very close sets. Like I said, Sonic Fox had that whole debacle. And people are trying to say, oh, he's just salty because he lost. Sonic Fox has lost in the past, and he's never acted like this. Maybe he's just pissed off. Maybe it was that bad. You hear all these horror stories. Maybe it truly was that bad, and it got into his head and affected his mood. You know. And against Kahneman, against Kahnemani, who is one of the best players in the world right now, any slight thing can throw you off. It's unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened. I'm not saying Sonic Fox would have for sure won, but you just can't do that. You can't do that in the middle of a tournament. Like, you. WB has been part of Mortal Kombat for years now. 10 years. More than 10 years. Since 2011. So they know how tournaments work. Especially by now. So what the hell are you doing interrupting two players in the middle of a match? That's so beyond. Because what if Sonic Fox was going to win that match? What if he was going to win that round, then win the next round, and then it wouldn't have gone down the way it did? It's crazy. The whole thing was a debacle. Everyone was super excited. I'm going to be on HBO, and then the production was just so bad. There was even a point where HBO went down for like 30 minutes, and everybody had to move to YouTube and Twitch, but then the YouTube stream went down, and then it was just Twitch, but then for some reason Twitch's audio was horrible. It was a massive mess. I don't blame NetherRealm, because the only two people from NetherRealm that were there was Ed Boon and Tyler Lansdowne. I don't blame the players. The matches were great. The commentators were great. I don't blame them. It was HBO and WB's terrible production. Amateur hour production. A billion-dollar company. Just, they dropped the ball big time and made us look even worse. Mortal Kombat already gets made fun of in the FGC all the time, and now you add this on top of it. Luckily, Street Fighter had that huge debacle about pay-per-view to kind of, counteract it, but still, it's just, you could have gone out with a bang. Had a nice, smooth production, and just, they fucked it up. Anyway, let's hope for at least one more patch. I think they should just make the game fun. Make it like MKX. Just make everybody fucking busted and fun to play. And just let us have fun until the next either Injustice or Mortal Kombat game. Just let us have fun. And let us hope that there really is one last patch. Anyway, I just wanted to rant a little bit because I feel like this needs to be talked about. It was not good. It really wasn't. Because, even people who are like, you know what? I haven't watched Mortal Kombat competitively in some time now. Let me go back and give it a shot. That's what they get. A horrible production with a ton of mistakes. So now they're probably like, I'm done. I don't want to watch it. Like, that's what's going to happen with any new players that try to watch that. Anyway, just wanted to rant, and I haven't made a video in a while, so wanted to come on here and talk about that. I've been playing Mortal Kombat heavily, trying to get as good as I used to be, trying to get better. I'm still going to make some Mortal Kombat 1 content, but a lot of content's going to be pumping out of my channel when that collection comes out at the end of October. Be prepared for a lot of videos. I have lots of stuff planned for that. I'm gonna keep focusing on Mortal Kombat content. I just love Mortal Kombat too much. It's another reason why I'm making this video, because I'm frustrated. If you like this video, give me a like and subscribe. I'm still very, very close to 500 subscribers. I am going to be holding a tournament October 17th. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments. I will set the whole thing up, and then post a link where you can sign up for the tournament. I already have a bunch of really good players lined up to compete. I'm not going to name names yet, just in case something happens and they can't compete. I don't want a bunch of people being like, "Why didn't so and so show up?" But I already have some pretty decent players lined up, ready to compete. I'm gonna try to hold one for October, a Halloween themed tournament, one for Thanksgiving, a Thanksgiving one, or November, I mean, a Thanksgiving one, and then December, a Christmas one. 3 tournaments. Hopefully they add lobbies to the collection. I know they announced that lobbies won't be available at launch for the Mortal Kombat collection, but they said they will be coming. Hopefully that's soon, because I want to start holding stuff for that. That would be really fun. Anyway. I'm sorry, guys. I was really frustrated. I needed a vent. It needs to be talked about. I know this isn't going to give me brownie points with WB, and I know I'm not anywhere close to these other Mortal Kombat content creators. I probably won't get invited, but that was really bad, guys. It was really, really bad. Your top, most famous player got done dirty, kind of, and then didn't even do the award ceremony because he was that pissed off. That's not a good look. Anyways, give me a like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have a tournament coming up. I'll be posting more videos. But I will see you all in the next one.